you have a topic you want to do?
No, I want to hear your, I mean, I have topics, but I'm so intrigued by like your,
Good, good,
I
good.
have a feeling one of yours may be mine anyways. So I want to see.
Did you get my text, by the way?
That's what exactly. I got like 3 texts from people that were like, can you, what is going on? So I was reading.
I don't know. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, look, even right now, I'm starting to well up. I don't know that I could have an intelligent conversation about that. Because it is so beyond. Should we tell people what we're talking about?
Yes. So we are talking about legislation in Missouri that basically they're trying to pass a rule that women have to wear dresses.
Women need to dress professionally. By the way, prostitution is a profession. So
oldest profession there is.
Yeah. And I'm like, my first reaction, of course, was and what's the dress code for men?
Oh yeah, no.
That was my first question. If we're going to pass a dress code, then it needs to be for everybody. Why just with? And then I just couldn't believe we were having this conversation. Another opportunity to put women into this crazy.
Can I just say this too? This is what came to mind for me. 2 things did. One is they just want to control women.
Yeah.
It is all about controlling women and that we are still second-class citizens.
Yeah. But it's other women trying to control women.
I know, which is the crazy part. The other thing that comes to mind was a conversation I had with a friend of mine a while ago, who is a liberal, who is very democratic, but almost so liberal, they kind of teeter on Trumpism. Like the Bernie bros, right? The people that are just so far left, like they start to kind of, it's a circle.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I just get tired of liberals always having these like fights over stuff that's irrelevant, right? Like trans rights, pronouns, this, that, when people are starving and people can't afford their rent and people are homeless and people don't have enough to eat. Like those are core issues, inflation.
I agree those are core issues, but so are trans rights.
I agree 100%. And his point is, well, how much of the population are trans? Like 1% of the population is trans, and we are spending our resources and our voices to adhere to this one group, or there's 60% of people, or whatever the percent, I'm just using a random number, that are homeless or are like on the verge of losing their home, right? Like one paycheck away. And to me, it's more of like, it doesn't have to be either or.
Right.
We should be able to fight for all of those things. And trans rights are
human rights should be human rights, right? So my thing is
human rights. 100%.
Whatever Anglo-Saxon men have a right to, everybody has a right to, regardless 100%. Of color or gender or sexual if we could get there, let's just get there. Then you're right. We wouldn't have. I'm not saying that transgender people should get extra rights. Nobody's saying that.
You have the same, 100%.
Equal.
But what really came to mind reading that article was that conversation I had with him where he was talking about this. And I kept saying, like, that's actually not fucking true. It's Republicans that always makes these things issues, right? They're the ones that want to ban books. They're the ones who
close bathrooms,
trans kids not being able to participate in sports. So we're constantly on the defensive about those initiatives because they make them issues. CRT was not a fucking thing.
Right.
At all. It wasn't something that Democrats were like, let's take CRT and put it in our elementary schools. No, it wasn't even a fucking thing. And I feel like Republicans are great at an issue like this and trying to constantly change our culture and take us backwards. And then we go on the defense and then we get accused on both the right and the left of making these issues bigger and not spending time on other things. And it's like, no, we actually have a group of people in the United States, the Republican Party, who want women barefoot and pregnant again, abortion illegal, and want Black people back out in the fields picking fucking crops.
You know, you're right. Actually, sorry, I had to check the score. Forgive me. Because this is, I mean, I admit this topic, I'm like, I know we're going to talk about it. And I'm like, I don't know that I can, because I'm so angry. And I'm so angry because I'm like, why am I angry? Like, why am I angry about it? And is it that white men are trying to tell women how to dress? That's huge. But then it's white women, right? That's the one I saw. That's the email, the text message I sent you. But the thing is one, I had previously, several days ago, written down like three sentiments that I just don't like. Like, I hear them and they're triggers for me, for lack of a better term. And one of them is best practices. Do not like that term at all. As a matter of fact, when I hear the words best practices, I immediately know what you're about to tell me is something that is hackneyed, that has been done to death, and it's just you being lazy. So and that's how I feel about that sentence. And then one of them is, I don't care. I don't love that sentence at all. And the third one was, be professional. And I had written this down prior to this whole thing coming.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting. What is it about I don't care that bothers you?
It's heartless. That is heartless. Because I mean, it's okay to, my sentence isn't much better, but I do say, and I learned it from an old sales manager, radio sales manager of mine, is I do care, but not that much. Like, I do care.
David, well, you know what? I feel like to say I don't care is disingenuous, because it probably actually means you care a lot.
A whole lot.
And you're literally unable to process how you're feeling. So you just cut it off. And it's like, if I say I don't care, then I kind of remove myself from it.
Yeah.
It's just totally disingenuous.
And that's how I feel about, you know, like a lot of, like, your friend in the right and writes these little tiny rights. They're not little tiny rights. They're not little tiny.
No.
But to have an entire state legislature actually make this an issue, it is the craziest freaking thing I've ever heard of in my life. Like, I'm 56 years old. I've been through wars. I've been through a lot of shit, and this takes the cake.
Well, and this is what else is wild about it is Missouri has so many fucking problems. I mean, Missouri, right? It just does.
Yeah.
Between education, between their incarceration rates. I mean, Missouri.
Is it distracting to you? Like, I loved what that one woman said is, how weird is it that I have a man looking at my talk deciding if it's professional or not? I'm like, yeah, no, he's staring at your tits because he's a fucking sexual pervert. Yeah. Okay, excuse my language. Yeah, do they I mean, and again, this goes back to our conversation about just people being crazy. Like, a lot of this conspiracy theory craziness is, now you're telling me that what you wear is going to affect your ability to govern. Then I say we need to eliminate suits, because that is what's fucking up our country.
100%. I used to say this to people, especially like, you know, when you get in those debates about crossing a street, and I'm like, if I see a motherfucker, I don't care what race he is, if his pants are hanging down below his ass and, you know, wearing a tank top and a bandana, I'm a little bit more nervous than a guy in a suit. On the flip side, a guy in a suit walks in a room and I immediately am on alert, because I'm like, he's going to try to fuck me over. He's going to try to steal my money, 401k. Like, he's probably actually a lot more dangerous in some ways.
Yeah.
And there's no accountability for those motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, none. Well, we let them get away with this. I'm just like, and I'm like, I was like, what words would I have been like? This is despicable. It's disgusting. It's demented. I mean, it's all the D words. But I'm just, I don't even think we could do it justice. Like, and I'm dumbfounded, another D word, that it's that we're even, again, you're right. Why are we having to have this conversation? This is, and I don't wear dresses. I love dresses. That's a lie. I wear a dress every day, almost, but I wear my leggings under and it looks like a top on me because I'm a big girl, right? So I get mini dresses that cover my ass because I don't want to have sex. And I wear my leggings and that's my uniform. It's a cute little outfit or whatever, but I'm just like, so I couldn't be a legislature? Really? Okay. But I do not plan on keeping silent about this, and God forbid it should happen in this state. I will immediately be getting in my car and driving up to Carson City and screaming at the top of my lungs. I will, because that is just the craziest thing I've ever heard.
It's insane.